Welcome to another deep dive. And let me tell you, today we're diving headfirst into the future of AI.
It's going to be a wild ride.
That's right, forget those basic algorithms we've all heard about because we're talking about AI agents.
AI that can practically plan your next vacation for you.
Pick out your souvenir.
Maybe even haggle for a better price on those plane tickets, you know?
Exactly. And to guide us through this new frontier, we're tapping into the brilliant minds over at IBM Technology.
They've got a fantastic video out right now all about AI agents, appropriately titled, What Are AI Agents?
IBM is really leading the charge here, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. They are right on the cutting edge of this whole AI revolution. And what's got me so excited is we're seeing a fundamental shift in how we're even building AI.
Okay, I'm intrigued. A fundamental shift. So you're telling me AI is going to start looking a lot different than it does now?
Yeah, so think about it. We're moving away from these massive monolithic models.
Monolithic models. Okay, for those of us who don't speak fluent AI, what are we talking about here?
Right, so imagine like those giant supercomputers you see in sci-fi movies, the ones that take up entire rooms.
Okay, got it.
Very powerful, but kind of clunky and stuck in their ways. That's your monolithic model. Tons of data, but limited in how they can use it, you know.
Okay, so I can see how that might be a problem. What good is all that brain power if you can't apply it in the real world?
Exactly. Like imagine you have this incredibly intelligent computer program that can write you a symphony, no problem.
Sounds pretty impressive so far.
It can translate languages, write different kinds of creative content, even compose music.
Okay, but there's always a but, isn't there?
But it's limited by the data it was initially trained on, right?
Yeah.
So you ask it a question that requires pulling in some real-time information or accessing something like your personal calendar. It hits a wall.
It's like having a GPS that can only recite Shakespeare.
There you go.
Impressive, sure, but not going to get you out of a traffic jam.
Exactly. And the video gives this great example of the whole vacation days scenario, right? Like let's say you ask your AI, hey, how many vacation days do I have left? And it just goes silent because it can't tap into your company's HR database. It can't see how many days you've already used.
So it's like having all the ingredients for a cake but no oven to bake it in?
That's a good way to put it.
So how do we break free from these data silos, so to speak? How do we unleash the true power of AI? I mean, that's what we really want to know.
Right, and that is the million-dollar question. And it brings us to, you guessed it, compound AI systems.
Compound AI systems, break it down for me.
Okay, so instead of just one giant brain, imagine giving our AI a whole arsenal of tools, different systems, all interconnected, kind of like how we solve problems in the real world.
Okay, I like where this is going. We're talking teamwork.
Exactly, collaboration. So back to the vacation example, with a compound system, it can potentially access those external databases, analyze your calendar, maybe factor in upcoming holidays, and finally give you a concrete answer to your very important vacation day question.
So we're talking about an AI that can not only access information from all these different places, but actually connect the dots.
Right.
Like some sort of superpowered detective.
Exactly. We're getting closer.
Okay, so now our AI is starting to sound a little less like a confused Shakespearean GPS and a little more like a super efficient, multitasking personal assistant, but we're still only scratching the surface here, right? That's where these AI agents come in. Am I right? AI agent. Okay, this is where it starts to feel like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie.
All right.
But really, what's the difference here? So we've got a compound system that can access all these tools, and now we're talking AI agents that can use tools.
That's a great question, and it's subtle, but it makes all the difference.
Okay, I'm all ear.
So think about it this way. You could give someone a toolbox full of the most sophisticated gadgets in the world.
Okay.
Or you could teach them how to actually use those tools, how to solve a problem they've never even seen before.
Right.
That's AI agents. They're not just relying on, like, pre-programmed logic.
There's actual thought there.
Yeah, they can reason, they can adapt, they can plan, they can even learn from their experiences.
It's like the difference between, like, having a recipe and just being able to whip something up in the kitchen.
There you go.
You know, like, I might be able to follow a recipe, but a true chef, they understand how the ingredients work together.
Exactly.
They can improvise.
Right. That's the magic of AI agents.
Okay, so it's not just about having the tools, it's about understanding which tool to use.
Yes.
When to use it.
When to use it.
How to use it effectively.
And that brings us to another really key piece of this whole AI agent puzzle, and that's autonomy.
Okay, and that's a word that tends to throw people off a little bit, autonomy, so.
Right, and this is where it really does get mind-blowing. An AI agent can make those decisions about which tools to use.
Okay.
And when to use them.
Yeah.
Without a human having to, hold his hand every step of the way.
So less hand-holding, more independent action.
Right. It can essentially take the reins and get the job done.
Okay, so now I'm picturing that vacation planning scenario again.
Right.
But this time, the AI agent isn't just checking my vacation days.
Right.
It's scouting out the best flight deals. It's comparing hotel amenities. Maybe it's even suggesting local restaurants.
Exactly.
Based on my dietary preferences.
Precisely.
It's like having a personal concierge
There you go.
who can anticipate my every need before I even know I have it.
That's a great way to put it. And to kind of bring this all to life a little bit more concretely, the video talks about this framework, a popular framework for building these AI agents called ReaCT.
Okay, ReaCT, I like it.
Stands for reasoning, acting, observing, and then iterating, which basically means repeating those steps until you find a solution.
So it's like the scientific method, but for AI agents.
Exactly.
So walk me through this. Let's say I ask my AI agent to manage my investment portfolio for the next year.
Okay.
What's happening behind the scenes with this ReaCT framework?
So instead of just throwing darts at a stock board and picking things randomly.
Please tell me AI is more sophisticated than that.
Right, a ReaCT agent, it would first start reasoning, which means it would break down that task, that very complex task, into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
So it might analyze your risk tolerance. It might do a deep dive into market trends, economic forecasts, really getting a lay of the land.
So it's doing its homework.
Exactly.
Before it makes any moves.
And then it moves into the acting phase. So this is where it's going to actually use its financial tools, so to speak, to buy or sell assets.
Making those power moves.
Exactly.
Okay.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It doesn't just stop there.
It doesn't just set it and forget it.
No, it observes. So it's constantly checking in. How are these investments performing? How is this aligning with the user's goals? It's constantly evaluating, measuring its performance against your goals, your risk tolerance.
Okay.
And if it's not satisfied, it iterates.
Okay,
Meaning goes back to the drawing board. Maybe it refines its strategy. Maybe it needs to do a little bit deeper dive into some emerging market trends.
So it's learning as it goes?
It's constantly learning, constantly adapting until it arrives at a solution that is optimized for you.
That is seriously impressive.
It's like having a 247 financial advisor on call.
Who's constantly learning and adapting to the market.
Yes.
Okay, but with all this talk about autonomy, I have to ask,
Right.
what are the limitations? Are we really ready to just hand over the reins completely to these AI agents? I mean, especially when we're talking about something as important as, our finances. I mean, it's kind of both exciting and a little bit daunting to think about AI having that much control, isn't it?
I totally agree with you. It's not about giving up control completely, right? It's more about understanding what level of autonomy makes sense for the task at hand. Think of it like delegating tasks, but to an exceptionally fast learner.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, I probably wouldn't want my AI agent automatically hitting send on a company-wide email, even if it thought it had crafted the most brilliant message ever.
Exactly. You still need that human touch.
Yeah.
You want to make sure the message is on point.
Exactly. There's that gut feeling that's hard to replicate with even the smartest AI.
Absolutely. So for something like, maybe filtering spam, optimizing your daily schedule, drafting that first version of a presentation, maybe even higher degree of autonomy might be perfectly fine.
Right.
Incredibly efficient.
And probably save a ton of headaches. It's all about finding that balance
Exactly.
between the power of AI and the importance of human oversight. Because as amazing as these AI agents sound,
Right.
we're still the ones calling the shots, at least for now.
I like to think of it as we're steering the ship.
Yeah.
AI can help us navigate, make the journey smoother, but ultimately we decide the destination.
And that is a pretty big responsibility.
It is.
Especially as this technology just keeps evolving at warp speed.
Yes, it is evolving so rapidly.
I mean, we need to be asking the right questions now.
Yeah.
Because who knows what's coming next year?
Absolutely. How do we make sure these AI agents are used ethically, responsibly? How do we make sure that we maintain transparency, control, without stifling innovation?
It's like we're venturing into uncharted territory here.
We are.
But that's half the fun, right? Exploring the unknown, unpacking this complex world of AI.
That's what the deep dive is all about.
Exactly. And the most exciting part is, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg here.
Oh, absolutely. We're just getting started.
I mean, as these AI agents, as they get more sophisticated,
yes.
more integrated into our lives, who knows what they'll be capable of?
The possibilities are truly endless.
The possibilities are endless. So there you have it. We've gone from those massive, all-knowing AI models to the dynamic world of AI agents.
It's a whole new world.
Systems that can reason, act, learn, make decisions. They're poised to just reshape how we work, how we live, how we interact with the world around us.
And what's so exciting about it is it's happening right now. We're in it.
Exactly. This isn't science fiction. This is the future unfolding right before our eyes. And the biggest question is, what role will you play in shaping it? What will you create? That's something to think about as we continue our deep dive into the ever-evolving world of AI. Thanks for joining us.